everybody, welcome back. It's Megan and I'm on my way to my mom's study, and today it is over the history of Halloween. Is this better? Okay. I know Halloween can be a very controversial subject for many Christians, and if you're against Halloween, then hey, that's all good. You do whatever the Holy Spirit is telling you, to do. I personally don't feel, I'm not convicted, or I'm not, sorry, I'm trying to drive and talk to you, not hitting anybody, sorry. I don't feel any spiritual attacks or anything negative towards Halloween. I mean, I'm not really big into like ghosts or witches. I do have a couple of ghost things hanging up in my house right now that I made personally, but I was listening to a podcast today from the Gather Moms podcast, and Kate Henderson was saying that the spirits aren't more out during Halloween than they are, any other time of the year. So, anyway, that's just how I feel. So, the kids enjoy it. I do it mostly for the kids anyway. We're doing it at a church carnival this year. So they're not trick-or-treating, they're trunk-or-treating. So, I mean, I'm not like huge on Halloween, but I don't see anything wrong with the kids just dressing up and going out and having some fun. But yeah, the thing is history of Halloween. So I'll let you know more afterwards. Okay, so I'm back. I'm in the pickup line at James's school, and it really wasn't about Halloween. She called it the spiritualism and the occult. So I listened to her podcast. It's Mama Bear Apologetics, and she's just, so for the first time I heard her was at this mom group last year, and she's just really smart. Like, I'm at like the 50th percentile, I think, of people. Like, I'm not stupid, but I'm not like extremely smart or anything. Like, in high school, I was literally the middle person at the graduating class. My graduating class, I was the middle person. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, she's just really smart, and I listened to her podcast, and I'm just like, wow. Like, it takes me a minute to like get my head wrapped around, my mind wrapped around what she's usually saying. But they gave us one paper write notes, but I ended up taking two. So, may actually get out my Bible, because the very first thing she gave us was a Bible verse. One second. Okay, so it is Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12, and it's actually under occult practices. That's what it says. And it says, "Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Because of these same detestable practices, the Lord your God will drive out the nations before you." So I kind of knew her speech today, because she kind of went over a lot of it in a podcast a while ago, and I didn't even know she was going to be speaking on this, but I was thankfully heard some of it before, so I could interpret it what she was saying. Anyway, again, she's just really smart, and this is some of the key points that she pointed out today. She said, "Satan can't create, he can only counterfeit. And it says spiritualism is attracted by 90% of millennial women. And I guess she said that because most of us, well, there's probably a lot of, what are they, Gen Zs now? What's that in there too? But a lot of us were millennial women. And she said the spiritual realm, which can include like angels, what I just love angels, but I don't love the angels, and I don't put them on a pedestal more than Jesus. Anyway, but then she also said ghosts and crystals. And it says anything to leave God out. So, which I don't leave God out. If you know my story, I saw my guardian angel when I was a little girl. So, they're just very special to me. Relativism. She says no objects are truth. And there's one more other thing she said, but I missed it. So, I have a little question mark on my paper. Alright, then she started talking about spiritual, but not religious. When a lot of people say, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. And it says spiritual means to discover your own self by deep motivation and contemplation. Love everyone, hate none. And then she started talking about beliefs. She said 86% of people believe there is a God or a higher power. 54% believe that it's a biblical God. And 32% believe that there's unlike a biblical God. And then it goes on to, she said 88% believes something spiritual beyond physical. 65% believe the existence of spirits, and which include like animals, which is 78%, and then like nature, which is 71%. Again, if you're interested in this, you can go to the Lake Point Mom Study Facebook page, and I know they post. It might be closed, but I bet you could ask them to be part of it, and they will allow you to. I don't know if it's closed or not, but anyway, I'm sure you can go back and listen to this. This is October the 22nd, 2024. Anyway, she says 63% of knowledge beyond science, and 38% ability to interact with the dead. They believe that we can interact with the dead, what I just said. And she said common ground beliefs is there's existence of afterlife, spiritual forces and spirits, connecting with nature. That's like the beauty of nature. Like if you go to the Grand Canyon and you see like the sun rising, how beautiful it is. They're also seeking meaning, purpose, or something greater. And you could ask them like, what could that be? Like, that could be a talking point when you're talking to people. He said they're spiritual and not religious. And there was one more thing, but I didn't get it, sorry. And then she said you'll come up to some hurdles. And these hurdles is people had a bad church reputation, or they might have been hurt by the church before. She said that when she was a teenager, there was a Christian girl. She said she was a Christian, but she was always mean to her. So that kind of turned her off of going to church, being Christian. Also, more hurdles would be you're expected to have a church community, perceived closed-mindedness, like we're all very closed-minded, and yeah. And next is restriction of self-expression. Closed-mindedness, if you don't do anything, like you don't do anything besides listen to Christian music, go to Chick-fil-A, read your Bible, and not watch, bad TV and stuff like that, which none of it's bad, but you have to have more of an open mind about stuff too. It's a restriction of self-expression, perceived hate and harm. So you ask them like, what is harmful? What do you mean by that? Or if you don't agree, you can't say anything. Tolerance, because if you're spiritual, I think I wrote it in here before, or maybe I didn't write it, but I think I did. Let me see if I can find it. You are, like, spiritualism is you are a source of power. I can't remember how I put two and two together. But if you're spiritual, you bring it from yourself. I can't remember how she said it. Again, go watch the video. But people who don't want to go to church because of the reputation. Right now, a lot of us Christians are, well, a lot of us follow Trump, I guess. And so people don't want to be put into that category. Or right now, just being a Christian in general is not looked at great. Unless you are a Christian, we think we're fantastic. But I mean, we love Jesus. But a lot of people, we get a bad reputation right now, and people don't want that being associated with that. And then other hurdles is, spiritualism. Also, people who, you are the source of the power. And then if you say, okay, say you're a teenage girl and you're having issues fitting in or whatever, people can isolate you. A lot of this is like with sexual predators too. People can will isolate them. In this case it says, and they will fall. But if you isolate a child, a lot of times sexual predators will go after children who don't have a family or close friends or something like that, so they can isolate them and do whatever they want with them. So, but this, she was saying, if you isolate them, they will fall. Next is, another hurdle is you can't get over. You can't get over. Occult, I'm not sure what that meant. Anyway, again, I'm just reading my notes. And then she went on to be occult practices in teens. She said that 80% do horoscopes, and they said they're just doing it for fun. 73% engage in some form of occult practice. Tarot cards, Ouija boards, books, etc. She said that last year she was trying to find like stocking stuffers for her son, teenage sons, and she saw that someone was selling, or a lot of tarot cards were being sold as a good stocking stuffer. So don't recommend that, but anyway, we'll keep going. 25% it says it's a fortune telling. They're into fortune telling, palm reading, and mediums. She said this is attracted to women more than boys because it gives the illusion of power. They can have a secret. She said a lot of times boys will do stuff like rolling down a hill in a shopping cart or something, and they do it because she says she can say it because she has boys, but they're just not always so smart. But girls will go more into wanting to be like a Wiccan or a witch or something, because it is shown to them as an illusion of power, and then they're like, ooh, a secret, we can keep a secret, whatever. So, and she said if kids aren't going to church, most of them will be attracted to this. So that's why you need to get your kids into church and to learn about Jesus, and they won't be so attracted to this other, because they'll be like, I don't believe in this, I don't think it's a good thing. So, and so most likely to attract teens who are relationally isolated, frustrated, stressed, bad, uninvolved church experience, feminism, women in control of herself, lack of discernment. And she says it's actually, you can go on TikTok and it shows you how to make like these beautiful altars in ways where your parents won't recognize what you're doing. So anyway, so that's a little bit scary. And she also said that children's media have real spells included into them. So if you watch, there's some, I can't remember which ones they are. I don't know them because I don't allow my children to watch that. I think I would like to believe that I know what my kids watch, and I'm usually in the room with them when they're watching it. But she said there are some kid cartoons that include like spells and stuff like that. And she also said that there was a book. She said this book is actually geared to people. I mean, humans. Of course, they're not going to be to a dog or cat. To adults. And I think she said it's called like Book of Bill or Bob or something like that. But they said in the very first, there's like this bloody hand, and you have to put your hands on that bloody hand. And it said that you're supposed to say something like you allow demons into you while you read this book or something like that. That's just scary. And then she said when she was a little girl, she would watch like Halloween Town. And I know a lot of people like Halloween Town. I never watched Halloween Town when I was a little girl. I don't think I even watched it until I was like an adult, which I thought it was a little weird. But then I went to church growing up, and I guess in the back of my mind I had that witch thing scary. I don't want to get involved in that. But she said that when she watched it, she was like, well, if Disney has it and talks about being a Wiccan, it must be okay because it's a kid channel, which we know now that Disney is not, it indoctrinates our children. And a lot of people are not going to like that I say that, but they do. All right, lies of the occult. It says, how do you know you are a witch? And you can go online and it'll give you a lot of things that like makes you want to be a witch. Like, do you like nature? Well, a lot of people like nature, but that doesn't mean you're a witch. Do you like to draw bubble baths and put like salts and stuff? But you're a witch if you like that. And there's a bunch of things like that. It's very vague because they have to be vague because otherwise no one's going to believe them. And she said that also if they say if you're wondering if you're a witch or not, you would just know. You're drawn to the cult. Remember, these are all lies. Reading crystals, metaphysics shops. You might go into one of those shops and be like, oh, I love all these candles and crystals and stuff. But just because you like them doesn't mean you're a Wiccan or witch. Ignoring is worse from a self-betrayal. You are a walking holy book. You don't need to read it because you're just living it out. And Jesus, last lie is Jesus didn't condemn witchcraft, which we know is a lie because he didn't like witchcraft. It actually says it in the Bible that we just read. It says it in Deuteronomy, the one that we just read, the very first. What was it? Deuteronomy 18:10-12. Okay, and then there's this new thing coming out. It's called Christian Witches. And then there's a girl on Instagram that she found, and I will like post the things like right here.
Or demand sacrifice or rule over humankind like doesn't have a holy book or a holy house or a will for you or rules that must be followed. God is in the mirror.
And that's the stuff that she was talking about. I think she said that she really tried to go after like African American women, but I'm not 100% positive if that's what she said. But I think that's what she said. But next is, she said Ephesians 6:10-13. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so it's Ephesians 6:10-13, and it says, the armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark, the powers against the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you've done everything to stand. And after you have done everything to stand. Okay. Then she went on to say, when they live Christianity, they have to feel, when they leave, I said live, when they leave Christianity, people are trying to look for something to build, to fill that hole that's been left in them. And so she said, what do we do? She says, we tell the truth. Worldviews, we go about God design, secular counterfeits, prepare for pushback. She said, be prepared when you are a Christian and you're open about it, and be prepared to be unfollowed. She said, engage with truth and grace. And then she gave us worldview questions, which I'll post right here.
Like, no, we're not going to field trip that one. But you can.
Because I didn't get them all written down, but as you just saw, is what is real, what is a human being, and then the rest of what you just saw. Okay, and she said, then there's engagement questions. And she says, what does your religious jewelry mean? So if you see a girl wearing like all these crystals or signs or whatever, you can ask them what that means. So what do you mean by being spiritual? What led them to be spiritual? How do you practice? What is the source of spirit's essence or ores, etc.? How did that come to being? How do you account for moral good and evil? How can we be divine if we are flawed? So those are just some questions. She said that if you know somebody who is in this questioning, or being like a witch, Wicca, then you need to kind of go and get the background on it, and then you can have them answer these questions and be like, well, that's not actually what it means, but yeah. And then someone asked her, like, is there a when I was going back to being about children's books and movies and stuff like that, is there a way to know what those books and stuff is, or resources for it? And she said condomsensemedia.com, but someone also gave dove.org, and they're good ones to go. You can go type in like witches or Christians, and she said those are good ones to go and check out. So alright, if you have any questions, shoot me up. Hopefully I can answer it. And I hope y'all have a beautiful and blessed day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.